What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I want to give you a Senate map update. So we have some new polling coming out of Iowa. Now, we don't get too many polls coming out of Iowa, and so I want to focus on these polls as we get them, just so we can get a better idea of what's going on. And so we're going to take a look at the polling, and then I'll show you the Senate map, because Iowa could be a key state. We don't know yet, but it is a pathway. Democrats do have a pathway through Iowa, so I will show you that in the Senate map. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video. And if you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. So first off, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest polling. So the first polling I want to take a look at is, this is a bedrock polling here, and this is just for the Democratic primary. And so the date here is March 26, 2026. Sample size 1,022 likely voters. Margin of error is 3.2%. You have Walz at 56, Turek at 38, and then other at 6%. So right now you're looking at Walz. He's over 50%. And so if you're looking at this polling and you're believing this polling to be true, then Walz does have an advantage. And so now let's look at the general election. So November 3rd, we have Echelon Insights. Okay, now Echelon Insights, there's so many different pollsters that are out there. I like to do a little bit of research behind some of these different pollsters if I'm not really familiar with them. And so it says Echelon Insights is a serious, credible, right-leaning polling and research firm. So that's just the first part there. That's all we really need to focus on, okay? They kind of lean to the right based on the information I was able to gather. But the most important word there was credible. So they are a credible pollster. All right, so looking at the race between Walz and Henson. So Henson is the Republican, Walz is the Democrat. This was conducted on April 21st, 2026, 377 likely voters. So the sample size is very small. You have the margin of error here, 6.6%. That's a huge margin of error, okay? And so you have Walz at 46, Henson at 44, and then you have other at 10%. So you have Walz there with the lead. That's within that margin of error, well within the margin of error. And then you have Henson at 44, and then we have 10%. That is other, or you can say they're going to vote for someone else or they're undecided. Okay, looking at Turek versus Henson. So this was conducted on the same day, April 21st, 2026, 377 likely voters. Margin of error is the same, 6.6%. Turek at 46, Henson at 45, other at 9%. So you see these are very, very similar, very similar. Now, what I do find interesting is that Democrats on both of these are, they're in the lead. But within that margin of error, that's very important to note. And then you only have 377 likely voters that participated in this poll. So do we get a lot from this? Not that much. And so in this polling, it does look like it's leaning for Democrats. However, just looking at 377 likely voters, it's not that many. We're talking about the sample size, 6.6 margin of error. Henson can easily be ahead of both of these candidates. And so we don't really know, but I thought it was worth mentioning just because it's a latest poll. Now, what I want to show you is if we go over to our map, our Senate map, we can see that Iowa is very important. It's a very important state. Now, it's not a must win for Democrats, but if Democrats can find a way to win in Iowa, that would really help them. That would really help their chances of taking back control of the Senate. And the reason that I'm saying that is because when we're looking at our current map, Democrats and independents at 47, Republicans at 53, Democrats need to win a few states. Even to have Iowa in play, Democrats are going to need to win a few states. And so let's say Democrats right now, they're leading in North Carolina. Let's say they win North Carolina. They're also, if you're looking at the polling, they're leading in Maine, or at least Plattner's leading in Maine. Mills is pretty much neck and neck with Collins, but Plattner, in all the latest polling, Plattner is showing better results than Collins. So let's say Democrats win in both Maine and North Carolina, and they're able to hold Georgia, hold Michigan, and hold New Hampshire. Now we're looking at Democrats and independents at 49, Republicans at 51. And this is where we can start looking at the map and saying, okay, Iowa could be in play as a result of these Democrats winning these two states. Now, remember, Democrats are going to need to net a total of 4 states. And so if Iowa was one of those states, if Democrats are able to pull it out in Iowa, Now we're looking at Democrats and independents at 50, Republicans at 50. The tie goes to the vice president, who's a Republican, so Republicans would still maintain control of the Senate. But you see how it brings Democrats to 50-50. Now they only need to win one more state. And when we're looking at the options that they would have, I think their best option is going to come in Ohio. I think Sherrod Brown has a shot of winning. I think another good option is Peltola in Alaska, and then Tallarico in Texas. So when we're looking at the map, if Democrats are able to pull it out and win in Iowa, that's going to open them up to even a better chance of taking back control of the Senate, because now you have realistic possibilities. I think Alaska is probably one of their best bets. I think Ohio is another one of their best bets. I think Texas, it's going to be a very close race. We'll have to see how that plays out in Texas. How energized are Democrats in Texas to go out and vote for Tallarico? We're going to have to see how that plays out. But if Democrats can win in Iowa, it really opens up the field. And I would tell you, if we're looking at the numbers as they come in, and we see that Democrats win in North Carolina, Democrats win in Maine, and Democrats are winning in Iowa or win in Iowa, that's a good sign. That would probably tell us that we're going to see an Alaska flip, or we're going to see an Ohio flip, or we're going to see a Texas flip. And that's all Democrats would need to take back control of the Senate. And so I just wanted to mention that when it comes to Iowa, Iowa could be a key state. If Democrats can win in Iowa, they have a real good shot of taking back control of the Senate. Now, I just went over Alaska, I said Texas, I said Ohio. It doesn't mean that Democrats are only going to win one of those states. Democrats can win all three of those as well. And so all I'm saying is if Democrats win in Iowa, that's only going to help their chances of taking back control of the Senate. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Iowa is a key state that Democrats need to win? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.